Hello there. Happy Monday. How are you? Thank you for tuning in. It's great to be connected. Did you miss me? I wasn't around on Friday. I know it's supposed to be another day that I give of my time and my love to you, but I needed a day off. So that's just how that went. So what's up with you? What's up in your world? How are you today? Are you doing anything exciting? Did you know that today is National Orgasm Day in the UK? Yep, that's the word you just heard me say, in case you're curious. But did she just say the big O? Yes, it is National Orgasm Day. So I'm going to share this over to my other page. Hey, Camilla. Hey, Janet. Very good to see you. This is a special one for you. You guys, because you guys, you ladies, you angels, Camilla and Janet, who have been faithfully joining me. She says, great. Does that mean you're like a little nervous about what I might be saying? Hey, Mohammed. Don't be worried. This is a positive thing. And it may not even apply to you. I don't know why Spirit is just telling me that this is specifically for you. So Lusa and I want you to know that it is time for you to receive more joy, love, and abundance in your life. You deserve it. Doesn't matter what is going on this crazy planet of ours. Does not matter if there's major crises. We need you full of joy. We need you full of love. And I need you full of abundance. So that you can take it out there to the world and make a bigger difference. You've heard me say this before. We can no longer count on people outside of us, outside of you and your family, to take care of your health, to take care of your wealth, to take care of your home. There is no big brother who's watching out for you, or in America, there is no Uncle Sam, right? Hello, Jeanette, I'm glad you're here too. Yes, please to the abundance, she says. Yes, Jeanette. Like, I want to see all of us just brimming, flowing, and overglowing in orgasmic abundance. Yes, I said the O word again. So the reason is I'm really fired up, and you know how I get. It's Monday. It means typically I've rested a little bit and I'm juiced up and ready. And it's true. I am more passionate than ever that we, especially women, need to like really accept all the goodness of life. And Camilla says you're into the 21-day program for orgasmic bliss. Yeah, baby. It's good, right? So that was a gift from Spirit on teaching us how to tap into all that we deserve. So I want to just start off at the very beginning. What do you think you are worthy of? Do you know that you are worthy of all good things? You deserve, just by the nature of being born on this planet, you deserve love. You deserve happiness. You deserve wealth, prosperity, and abundance. You deserve to be able to speak your truth and express yourself as fully and alivingly as you want to be. That is what you deserve. Yes, Janet, you deserve respect and love. 100%. Now, what blocks you? I'd be happy for you to kind of type in and tell me what are the things that have blocked you from receiving. And if you know anyone else who is always broke, always sick, always complaining about what they ain't got and they're in that poor me, then share this video with them so that they can get a little light turned on and they can like really, just really tune in to what you are about in this life. So Camilla, you're saying the 21 days of bliss is so fantastic. You get to know yourself in another way. Yes. Like if you really break down what I stand for. There's really just three things. I care about you learning who you really are. That's number one. Like knowing who you are, what you stand for, what your contribution is to the world. I want you to know that you are a divine spirit being, perfect and whole and complete at the level of your deepest self. And from that authentic place, when you know who you really are, then the next thing that I care about is that you love who you really are. That's number two. So loving yourself means at first you've got to accept your gifts, your talents, your unique abilities. Hey, what's up, Namisha? What's up, Vaughn? Do you accept? Do you recognize? Can you embrace that there is good in you that is worthy of being shared in this world? Do you accept that? That's number two on my list. And after you learn who you are and love who you are, my vision is that you will live who you are. That means you are fully expressing your spiritual gifts and the love in your heart that you want to share, the ideas in your head that you want to create and promote. That's all. That's all I really care about. And if I can help anyone, even just a little bit in those areas, then I'll know that I'm living my true purpose. That's it. So I asked, what would block you from living that kind of life, where you know who you are as a divine being, you accept that you have gifts to give to this world, and you love yourself enough to nurture and care for yourself, and then yes, you are expressing yourself in whatever way feels divine and perfect for you. What holds you back? So Jeanette, you say memory is one of your blocks. Oh my. So are you finding that, you know, things are not coming to you as readily as they used to? What is it a memory for? Janet says not staying in the present in the midst of being disrespected or unappreciated. Okay. Well, we're going to talk about that. You shouldn't be staying anywhere that you are unappreciated. Your body is going into healing, says Jeanette. All right. I think I've got most of the comments, hopefully. So these are good. These are really helpful. You're just at step one, but you're about to go to step two. Awesome. 3 L's to living authentically. Learn, love, and live who you are. Yes. So if we're in step one and just recognizing that you are a divine being, let's just pretend for the next few minutes. I know, I'm going to try to do it short, but we'll see. Let's just pretend that right now, if you could imagine that you were this perfect little baby born into the world. Forget about the circumstances that may have been going on in your household. We're just going to assume that you were born into this world, loved and accepted. What do you think that new little baby deserved? Does that baby deserve to get all sorts of praise and love and kisses and hugs? Does that baby deserve to explore this life and figure out what they really care about and what they really want to do? Imagine that tiny little precious baby. Does that version of you need to do anything to gain respect or to gain acceptance and love, or just in the baby state? I'm not talking about any other time. I'm not talking about the terrible twos. I'm talking about in that baby state. Do they need to do anything? Or can that baby just receive? Because that's where we were born. We were born in this completely deserving state, completely worthy of learning who we are and what drives us and motivates us, and expressing that in the world, going out on our little adventures and experiencing life full of joy and wonder and, you know, no drama if we make little mistakes along the way, right? Janet says I'm on a timer. We'll see. And Jeanette says you can't remember where you put things, like your travel card this weekend, and you freak out. Okay, So we're going to talk about that. So this tiny baby, Janet, says, safety, nurture, attending time, love, positive energy, born to receive from the Creator. Hello, Gita. So we're asking this question. If you were born as a tiny little baby today, what is this baby deserving of or worthy of? In our perfectly pure newborn state, yeah, we are born to receive and to fully have this rich, abundant life. So where do we start getting all these blocks that tell us, oh, it's not good to receive? We've got to downplay anything when everybody tries to give us a compliment. You know, for me, I remember, I think I recently told this story to you, Gita. Maybe another story. I'm telling a lot of stories these days with all these interviews. But I remember when my daughter was, I think she must have been 3 months old. And Sienna was not sleeping through the night. Yes, Vaughn, a baby is totally dependent, almost helpless. Yes. And so in that state, Vaughn, imagine if we're totally dependent, then why would we refuse help? Why would we refuse love? Babies don't. We do not inherently refuse love or support or kindness or food. The adult side of us, now that's another story. So I digress. So Sienna was probably about 3 or 4 months old. She was breastfeeding every 2 to 3 hours. She was not sleeping through the night. She was draining me. I mean, it was great because she drained the fat off my body with all the breastfeeding, but she was draining me energetically. I was beside myself. And at the time, we had this nanny that just loved her. And she carried her everywhere. And I'm like, you need to put the baby down. That's why she won't sleep on her own. She always wants to be in our arms. But I was walking down the street one day, and a very dear client of ours, somebody who had come to my wellness center, she and her husband were there at our wellness center to lose weight and to get healthy. And I happened to cross them as we were walking around Silver Spring, Maryland, and started chatting. And everybody wants to fawn over the baby. Oh, look at the baby. So I'm standing there, and Cynthia is her name. Cynthia looked at me and she was like, girl, are you sleeping? And I was like, no. Sienna basically is up through the night. She wants to breastfeed. She won't sleep on her own. It's like draining. And she was like, oh no. And I was just like kind of in this daze. Anybody who remembers how that was when your little ones were not sleeping. And she said, girl, you need to get some sleep. I'm like, I know. She said, look, I know you're breastfeeding. So I know you're always pumping. You got some milk in that closet in the refrigerator. She's like, you go get me some of the breast milk. Give me that baby and you go sleep. And I remember there holding Sienna kind of going, can I do that? Can I give my baby to one of my clients? Because I'm the doctor, she's the client. Who am I to give up my child? And I just remember going, okay. Yeah. So I did. I went home. I got out a couple of bottles of milk, took them back over, reluctantly gave her my baby. Now, mind you, Cynthia is she worked in school, in the school for 35 years as a teacher, specialty in childhood development. Like, she's super brilliant and she's just loving. So I gave her the baby. I went home, got some sleep. And I remember waking up going, just like with tears running down my face, feeling like such gratitude. And I'm getting teary now. I just felt such gratitude and such relief and like kind of ashamed at the same time. Like, how we parents are. We have all this range of emotions, right? So then I go back over to their house, and I knock on the door, and she opens the door, and she's like, shh. And I'm like, what? Sienna was fast asleep. we walk upstairs, baby's just lying on the bed, just knocked out, blissful, happy. Not in somebody's arms, mind you. She was finally sleeping. And I was like, how did you do that? And that started off an amazing relationship with this couple, Cynthia and Woodrow Gill, very dear friends of mine to this day, who have gone from being just former patients and clients to like family members. They are now godparents to Sienna, and sometimes I think they're my godparents taking care of me. And it was funny because one of the things that Cynthia taught me along many, many journeys in our lives. We've been to Mexico together. They came when Sienna and I moved to Mexico. They came, did a little wellness retreat there. They came to Paris when we were spending time up there when Sienna was just a few months, 6 months old. That same year, they flew in, spent Christmas and New Year's with us in Paris. They've been here to the south of France, like we travel together. But one of the things that was really tough along the way, like I accepted, okay, they helped taking care of Sienna, they helped teach me how to make her sleep. But one of these days we were going somewhere. I think we were on some kind of shopping trip, and she handed me some money. And I was like, oh no, that's where we draw the line. I'm not taking this money. And she was like, she got mad. Okay, now y'all know how some of us can be. She got really indignant. She was like, don't you block my blessing. And I was like, wait, what? She's like, look, if I want to give so that you can go in this store and spoil this baby or whatever, then why would you block my blessing? If I give, I know I'm going to receive. And it just totally opened my eyes to, it's a two-way street. When we give, sure, maybe that person is going to give back to us, but we receive from the universe, from Mother Earth, from other people, from other, and I'm not joking. She wasn't just trying to get me to take this money. Thank you for the hearts. Y'all know what I'm talking about. She was like, you are blocking my blessing, right? So it was really, really a lesson for me to open up and receive. So I had to check myself, and this is what I'm inviting you to do. If you find that you're finding it hard to receive pleasure or joy or compliments or abundance, what inside of you, a belief, shame, guilt, fear, what is it that might be blocking you from opening up and receiving that abundance? For me, I was thinking that, oh no, I shouldn't take money from this person who's not in my family. You know, at that point, I think we'd known each other a year and she had been my client. It was like weird. So I had to go in and just check and check and check myself. And then it was like, okay, what would it mean if I took money? So like we make up meaning. That's what we humans are. We are meaning makers. We are storytellers. We are movie makers in our mind. So Camilla asks, what was it in me that I said no from the beginning? I think it was a rehearsed thing. I think it was this stance that I'm an adult now. I have this business. I'm in control. I don't need to receive money from someone, especially because I wasn't broke. It wasn't like I was out of money and needed it. So in other words, it was like a gift. It was just, hey, we were on the eastern shore of Maryland in some place that like outlet malls. And I've now spent more time with her. She and Sienna love to shop. Like they have that in common. They have like some kind of spiritual bond. They love to shop and they love bling. So this was just the beginning of a relationship. Hey, Jat, it's good to see you. Yes, we are meaning-making machines. So I felt like the meaning that it would somehow diminish my position if I took money, especially because one, I didn't need the money. I wasn't broke. I wasn't poor. It wasn't like I needed it to pay a bill. And I just didn't know what, I've never, at that point in my life, I hadn't ever received gifts from people. Okay, Christmas and your birthday, all right, I could receive a gift, every now and then, doing speaking engagements, sometimes people give us gifts. I get that. But there was no exchange. I guess this is the thing. So in my mind at the time, and I wonder if this is true for any of y'all, I had this program that I needed to give in order to receive. That there needed to be an exchange of value, right? Or that I didn't earn it. I didn't deserve it. It was just like, we're just out and about, right? I'm going to take a short pause and read some of your comments because I don't want to get too far behind. So, hey, Sharon. So, struggling to keep a roof over your head as you pursue your dream as an actress. All right, we're going to get into that because I know the struggle is real for some of us artists. Janet, were you ever nervous when you started the journey of transformation, like feelings of anxiety to be and express your authentic self? And Camilla says, that's what you do. Saying no because I feel I don't need it, even if I do. And my first thought is they give because they feel sorry for me. Okay, so right. So all of that, and Namisha, you've just said it, programming. So if we are meaning-making machines, what would it mean if I gifted you 1,000 euros or dollars or pounds? I'm not going to say 1,000 kroners, Camilla, because I know that wouldn't be worth nothing, right? But if I gifted you 1,000 euros, what would that mean about you? So what does that say about you? What does that say about me? What does that say about your worth? Like all of that programming. Yeah, Vaughn, what you're saying is receiving does not diminish who we are or what we are called to do. And that, I believe, is the truth. Being able to receive abundance from the universe, from other people, does not diminish our capacity, our capabilities, or our value or our worth. But if you've been programmed otherwise, maybe you came from a family that was like, we don't talk about these things. We don't ask anybody for anything, You have to investigate it. If you don't investigate, then you'll just keep doing what you've always done. And you keep getting what you always got, which might be nothing. So I felt really strongly about this because there were people around who were having a hard time accepting compliments, having a hard time accepting opportunities, and they would either just downplay their need or downplay, I don't know, just something. We give not to get, but to understand it reflects God's character in the earth. Amen to that. So exactly. So if we can go back into our minds to that time when we were, Vaughn says, I take all forms of payment. I feel you, right? He is open to receive, y'all. But if we go back to that moment as a tiny little baby, think about babies, and even kids, they're not ashamed. I mean, until somebody teaches them to be ashamed of asking, can I have that? Can I have that? Like a cookie, they go to the store, they see everything they want, and they don't feel bad asking for it, even though they got a ton at home already, until they get shamed or told by some adult, you don't need that. Quit asking. No, your grandparents are retired. They don't have money for that. No. Like we start to get all these conditions put upon when it's okay to ask and when it's okay to receive. So Janet says, sometimes you shy away from receiving because you weren't used to getting, but more so giving. So yeah, so it's a program. It's a very rehearsed program. So let today be the day that you investigate your programming. And you say, okay, fine, I may have grown up with a certain circumstance at home, or maybe the certain last few years financially things have been tight, and that's made you kind of, whatever it's made you. But can you today open up and say, I'm willing to receive in whatever form, and genuinely feel that you are that open vessel to receive? That's what I'm just curious about. Including when someone pays you a compliment without saying, oh, yeah, this is nothing, or oh, well, the one that drives me craziest is when I give a compliment to someone and I say, oh, girl, you looking good. Oh, that outfit is just hot. I love you in that color. And then they'll say something like, oh, well, it's nothing, but, oh, but your necklace is so beautiful. Like, they feel like they need to turn it around and almost like put it out there that, oh, I'm not the only one that deserves some attention. Let's put it back on you. And I get that. I get that it's sometimes hard to just bask in a compliment, but I want you to bask in some compliments. Be open to receive. Just let it soak in. And one of the things I invite you to do is not say anything. I mean, say thank you. But just to be like, oh, thank you. And sit there in the silence, in the awkwardness. Because we always feel like we have to say something. We have to say something. But if you just say, oh, thank you, that's it. Bask in it. And no more. Just let it sink in, including the awkwardness. And then you can move on to something else. But as soon as you start deflecting, you don't actually let it sink in and get the richness of it. Because what I want to say is this. I was doing a Facebook Live last week. What was it? Wednesday, for my verbal tea. And I had to cut it short. I was trying to do 30 minutes, y'all, because I had to, had a live masterclass. It didn't work. 30 minutes was not enough. But I was just starting to share some of the wonderful work of Dr. Rick Hansen, who wrote Buddha's Brain, Hardwiring Happiness, Just One Thing, and the whole concept of rewiring your brain. Like, you've heard of neuroplasticity. Neuro meaning our nervous system, and plastic meaning it's bendable, it's pliable. We can change our brains. So we may have been programmed to have this scarcity mentality, to have this fear of judgment, fear of receiving, fear of all that is just programming. And it's gotten to the point where we think it's all hardwired, but you can change it. And in Rick Hansen's body of work, one of the things he talks about is take in the good. So this idea of just letting it soak in and register in your brain as positivity, as goodness, as wholeness, as abundance. You can start to rewire your brain. It's not going to happen in one day. But if you would do this repeatedly over time, you will train your brain to look for and to be open to abundance, joy, happiness. The more you let it sink in, you're going to start rewiring and rewriting those programs so that you can have more abundance, so that you can live with more ease and grace. So Jatinder says, society has created us to become like this. Time is now for change, and more people that do, as I'm saying, the tipping point for universal change. Absolutely. And that's really why I'm still doing what I'm doing. Spending all this time with y'all. I spend a lot of time with y'all. Have you noticed that? And it's not that I don't have a lot of stuff to do. I have more clients at the moment, active clients, than I did when I first started doing all of these things. And still doing the radio show and my own show. I'm doing it because I do want to reach that tipping point, chat. I want people to get to this point where they practice it enough, you get past the resistance, you get past the weirdness, the uncomfortableness. And when you get to that point where you're comfortable in the uncomfortable, what else is there? That is a quote from Todd Malloy, who I interviewed, last week? You should check that one out, because he's talking about being comfortable, and he says it, present, honest, and sincere in every moment. And that interview was about infidelity, y'all. So can you imagine being present, honest, open, and sincere then? But the bottom line is, when we can be comfortable in the uncomfortable, what's left? Everything drops away. Fear will start to drop away, but the only way you get there is by actually doing it, by practicing it. And that's why I'm giving you these little reminders, y'all. And as simple as it is to just receive a compliment, as simple as it is to just look around for anything that might register as pleasure, as a gift from the divine, a gift from someone else that they just smile at you. That's a gift. That's a gift that deserves being recognized. Let it sink in so you change your brain, okay? That's all I'm saying. So Romeo says, is there a way to make a quantum jump to cross the river of change? Is there a way to give sense to the black night of the soul while living it? Well, you are asking some deep questions, my friend. Yes, I believe there is, and I call it, all the quantum modalities that I know of, and I don't know if you're new to this tribe, Romeo, but one of the things that we talk about is a lot of meditation, deep mystical experiences that can be had in meditation or chanting or prayer, even in dance. Things like an ecstatic experience out in nature or with your beloved. Making these quantum leaps, changing your brain state. So you may remember, I don't think I've actually posted the video. I created a video for you about the Pandora star, which is this LED flashing light technology that helps to synchronize the brain. Well, of course, that's great. For the last 30 years, people have been using it post-stroke and in rehab from neurological problems and whatnot. So because it's great at helping the brain get synchronized and have more, positive flow. And it also helps you get into trance states. So if you were able to get into a trance state and use self-hypnosis or work with a hypnotist, you could make some of those jumps across the river of change. The bottom line is, Romeo, and for all of us, the more times that we get in communion, in connection with our true self, our higher self, our authentic self, sovereign self. There's a lot of words for this. Source, God. When you are connected to the truth of who you are, yes, you will get that divine perspective. When you associate with your spirit, you can look down on this earthly experience. And this happens for me in meditation. It happened in my out-of-body experience. Happened with the little special brew in Peru. Associating with your sovereign self, your highest divine self, you can see some of the karma and the drama that the soul, this ego, is playing out here on the matrix. And yes, Romeo, in my belief, as soon as you see with your spiritual eyes what's going on, you can make a quantum leap. You can make a quantum change. Because from source is the original source code. That is, source, spirit, the divine, can supersede all the laws of the earth. So when we tap into the laws of the universe and tapping into spiritual power, even the laws of gravity don't apply. Did you hear that? That's why levitation, walking through walls, teleportation. Y'all thought that was all supernatural? It's just natural. Vaughn says, you're usually silly and love to have fun, but accepting is not always easy. It's simple, but not always easy. Yes, Sharon, please do read up on neuroplasticity. Because you can change. The beauty of it is everything can change. I think that's why I love, I'm gonna go there for a second. I love hip hop and rap. Now I know we're not even gonna get into the language. We're not gonna get into the degradation of, the reason I love rap and hip hop so much is because when you see someone who has come out of the ghetto, who has stopped selling drugs, for example, and is tapped into their gift of rhyme, of flow, of beat making, whatever, and they are able to share that gift, and finally the world gets a hold of it, and they rise up, and they embrace a new way of life. Now, I'm not saying all rappers are cool, because they still do some pretty trifling stuff. But there's this sense of hope. It's why I also love superhero movies, because I believe we have all this potential, and we don't always use it to the max. And one thing that you'll take a look at, Sharon, when you start looking at this neuroplasticity is it's incredibly empowering, because it doesn't matter what you experienced before, it can change like that. It doesn't matter how dark this dark night of the soul is, it can change like that. So I shared my story about my out-of-body, near-death-like experience, that after which a 2-decade history of depression and a several-year history of anxiety disappeared. Poof. And that was even hard for my medical, rational brain to get a hold of, because so many programs in the medical model of depression, blah, blah, nonsense, they all said it wasn't possible. They all said that depression was... They all said a bunch of nonsense that wasn't true. I'm just saying. Sometimes we have to rewrite these programs. And you'll hear from one of my new friends, colleagues, and client, Dr. Valencia Ray, who has a beautiful, beautiful methodology, a 5-step methodology on how you can reinvent yourself. It's called Neuro Reinvention. And we'll be bringing her work to the world because it's so important that we get a hold of these empowering truths that we can change it all. Now, I'm going to give you all the mystical stuff too because I love it. This is when my life is just full of joy. One of the reasons people are stuck is because they know how to accept. Wait, Vaughn, what does that say? One of the reasons people are stuck is because they know how to accept. Oh, you mean like kind of the welfare mentality? Say a little bit more about that. Thank you, Camilla. She says she loves that I use my time together with you all here. You're welcome. I'm glad that it's helping. Yeah, so this idea of being present, open, honest, and sincere to receive abundance. Thank you guys for sharing this video. I appreciate that so much. And I didn't expect all this stuff. I wasn't saying that to get it. Okay, I'm just going to receive. Oh, you're thanking me for being here with you. It's my pleasure. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I'm just going to let that soak in. That was nice. Thank you, guys. Aw. I did not post the video about Pandora Star. Hey, Lena, thank you so much. I'm glad that that made sense. And yes, Sharon, yes, it is a sense of hope. I definitely want you guys to recognize that, and Lena, I'm glad that you got to see me in a different light in Alicante. Yeah, so Pandora Star, I will share it. I will definitely. Hey, Madian. So glad, so glad. What's up, Kevin? Thank you for being here. All right, so now you have your little homework, right? We have our assignment because you won't make any change if you never change. Let that one sink in, right? Like we hear all this stuff. I shared this in another one of my rants that I'm sick of people saying, oh, I know, I heard that. Oh, yeah, I read that. And yet they're not implementing it. So even if it takes just little baby steps, little bitty things, do it. But rather than saying, oh, I know that, I want you to look around for the evidence and be like, oh, yeah, I remember how I manifested that. Oh, yeah, I remember how that was given to me. Like, be in communion with. It's this two-way street of the give and the take. And let it sink in and be recognized, if you will. All right? So, the other thing about this whole abundance piece, you're going to see a lot more coming from me. Hey, it's 3:35 on my what is it? 15:40. Okay, so it's now been 40 minutes, and I could actually stop now. Okay, I'm getting better, Janet. Dr. Anthony, check me out now. So now I can open it up to questions. Because I've already given you your assignment. You are going to be open to receive. You are going to take in the good around you. And I'm going to ask that you do it with all of your senses. Now, it's because it is National Orgasm Day, and you're going to see some more posts today coming from me. I think I did a piece with Glamour in the UK and some other magazines that are going to be posting my quotes from my book, The Orgasm Prescription for Women. But because some of you have either read the book or you know about this 21 days of bliss, you'll know that I'm asking you to turn on all of your senses. Not just, the sexy stuff. Like, we have to prime our brain to receive. okay? So that means, and I'm talking about receiving all the good stuff and not just rejecting it. Like, how many times have you, I don't know, we so easily become numb to good things, right? This hedonic treadmill, as they call it, that we get something new and we're excited about it for 0.59 seconds, and then we're like, oh yeah, whatever, that's just whatever. Like, allow yourself to take in sights, things that you see, things that you may have been wanting for so long and you finally got them and now you're kind of over it. Allow yourself to just return to these sights. It could be a tree, a flower, the sunset, you know, your cute little dog that's now pushing me off the pillow. Whatever they are, like, allow yourself to see or hear or smell or taste or touch. Like, really get in tune with your senses and recognize that we were meant to receive all good things. It is this lower part of the brain that typically gets into this very hyper-vigilant scanning our environment for every bad thing, everything that can go wrong, every little threat. And that's good when we need it. But we don't need it 24/7. We have to learn to turn off the stress response so that we can turn back into this divine, juicy, delightful, loving creature that we were meant to be. So do that with yourself as well today. So yes, tell your wife. I'm good. I'm so glad that you've shared the book with Sarah Vaughan. So yes, it is. It's National Orgasm Day. So tell people that tell people that there's this phrase that I have been using for the last year, and it's the idea of living orgasmically. Like, I'm going to post this video that I did in the UK, and there was a whole lot of controversy leading up to me being on this show on ITV in London with Phil and Holly. It's called This Morning. So in America, it's like the equivalent of Good Morning America or something like that. So it's a morning show. I'm there talking about my book, and they ran a survey the weekend before I came on. I came on a Monday. They ran a survey, asking 2,000 people in their database, women, how they felt about orgasm. They asked them several questions. And the percentage of women who said that they literally felt guilty for achieving or experiencing orgasm blew my mind. The number of people who faked the big O, like all these sorts of stats came out. And it was like, you know what? We wouldn't be here if it weren't for an orgasm. All of life, all of it, from the trees and the flowers and the bees, even if they don't reproduce like the orgasmic way, it's like this burst of life force energy. And the energy that flows through our body and through the heavens and through the earth is vital life force energy. And by allowing it to circulate and flow, and yes, have these releases every now and again, that's what we're meant to experience on an ongoing basis. So I mentioned that having a tea could be an orgasmic experience. Gardening could be an orgasmic experience if you allow yourself to let that energy flow. And it's not all sexual energy. It's life force energy. Okay? Chi, prana, ki, depending on which, system you believe in, right? So I want you to just think about how much joy and passion and explosiveness are you willing to experience? Our dear friend David Brower up in Paris calls it alivefulness, and I'll be interviewing him very soon and sharing that video with you. But yes, thank you, Jat. I do believe it's a good way, a beautiful way of looking at it. So Madian, you say, what I'm saying sounds so human, but you don't do it enough. Yeah. Abundance, receiving and orgasmic experiences. Yes. So the thing that changes when I've worked with people who, particularly women who said they couldn't experience orgasm, when they turn on their brain and turn on their senses, they're amazed at how quickly they reach that pinnacle of ecstasy. But here's what shifts. Here's what changes. And this is why I'm an orgasm advocate. Because for a woman who's been denying herself pleasure, or thinking that she can't get there, or in her head worrying about how she looks, how she sounds, how she smells, how she tastes, whether she's pleasing her partner, when she's all in her head, she's not going to reach the big O. And if she's judging herself or judging the cleanliness of her apartment, it's going to be harder to get there. But when we start to accept that and just say, oh, well, you know, I didn't want to take too long, or, oh, well, you know, we didn't get there, whatever, it starts to create a dullness in her experience of life. Now, not everyone, but I've known so many women who've had these passionless lives where they just settle for mediocre sex life, and they're not really fully feeling pleased or expansive, but they just accept it and they tolerate it. When they, get a little bit of orgasmic healing, they find that they are much nicer. And oh yes, I mean, let's talk about the 10 benefits of having orgasms. One of them is you're nicer. Why? Because we release all these happy chemicals like serotonin and oxytocin. And oxytocin is this bonding and cuddling hormone. So when a woman is finally allowing herself to experience ecstasy, it's going to allow her to be kinder and gentler and more loving. She's going to be nicer to be around. So that whole bitch factor tends to diminish. I'm just keeping it real practical on the science bit for you. You know what? I wasn't intending for today's thing to be about sex, but what are you going to do? As Camilla says, it took me some time to find peace and pleasure in working with orgasm when I'm single. And this is a lot of things that a lot of single women have struggled with. And in particular, women who are menopausal, maybe after a divorce. And they are often surprised to hear me say that you can self-pleasure. It's okay. Even if you're out of baby making range or you're not in a relationship, you still have this vital energy that is meant to be circulated around. Now I know some people have to get it past their blocks of bliss that tie to religion. Oh, and good girls don't, blah, 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 fill in the blank. But the reality is you are designed for pleasure, and that energy needs to keep flowing. And what I tell the women who are menopausal or postmenopausal, this body of ours operates by a law called use it or lose it. And so if you're not putting any attention down there, you're going to find that, yes, the things that bother menopausal women, such as vaginal dryness and, all these other things, painful intercourse, those can be alleviated by keeping the energy flow going there. So, yeah, I know. I wasn't expecting that. Hey, 47 minutes in. What? All right, my friends. Do you have any other questions? Salut, Philippe. Thank you all for sharing this video. I know I shouldn't leave now that we're talking about sex. I was not trying to talk about sex today, but again, it's one of those things that I am shocked by the number of people who are afraid to speak up and ask for what they want in a relationship. I am shocked by the number of women who've said they feel guilty or they feel ashamed if they take too long to accept and receive pleasure. It's frustrating because I can see that sense of dimming. It's like a dimmer switch, that when your energy is flowing, you know how we get that glow? The post-orgasmic glow? And if you're not living with that, it's as if your light has been on a dimmer. Now, I'm not saying everybody has to be having orgasmic, passionate sex. I'm saying that your energy needs to be allowed to flow and circulate and at least be accepted, even if you're not going to be, active. Camilla says, reading and listening to my book was life-changing for her. Yay! And now, and I know, really, try to work with orgasm in other ways than just sex. Yes. So I'm glad you said that, because it is more than just sex. It is this vital life force energy. And when it's bubbling, you can be much more outgoing and expressive. Because when you're allowing that true erotic energy to flow, you get the experience of love, including self-love. And when you love yourself and accept yourself, who can stop you? Who can tell you that you're wrong? It doesn't even matter if people agree with what you're up to. And for most of the people in my tribe, most of us are in these transition points in our life where we get to a point where maybe our kids are old enough, or we're sick of this career that wasn't really fulfilling, and now we're at this new point of concentration, this new point of focus where we're realizing, I've got to follow my passion, my heart, tap into my spirit to find out, what am I really here to do? Because I can't live that way anymore. And by being in that space, if you can bring all of your energy to it and start feeling better, like doing these little practices so that your energy is up, that you feel good about yourself, about the world, you are ready and willing to receive. And it's not always just receiving material things, it's also receiving signs, confirmation from the divine, from the universe, that you're on the right path, that you are loved, that you are supported, that there's nothing to fear, because we got you. We got you. Yay. And Camilla says the book is helping you fall in love with yourself. That is my deepest joy and my deepest intention with that work. So I'm going to pop off here very soon, because I have an interview this evening with Mary Maya, who is the woman that I am flying into somewhere in California so that I can be at Mount Shasta September 9th. And I would love to invite you all to be with us. You can fly in. The ticket is only $197 for this day-long retreat with this Arwaka tribe and the Kogis from the Sierra Nevada in Colombia. These are people who take care of an entire, ecosystem, from these mountain peaks all the way down to the sea. And they have not integrated into society. They did not get conquered by the Spanish. And all their life purpose is to be in communion with Mother Earth, protecting, nurturing, and listening. And about 20 years ago, they recognized this global warming thing was a problem. And they decided to come out and start speaking to Westerners to get us to quit killing the planet. Or as Sienna would say, you're breaking the planet. And so beautiful Mary Maya, who's been in communion with the Kogi for some time, was in Colombia last year, and they have agreed to bring some spiritual elders to Mount Shasta. And Mount Shasta is one of the power centers on the earth. It's like the root chakra. So for anyone who's struggling with a sense of fear, with a sense of lack, with the sense that you don't have the safety or protection to stand firmly on Mother Earth and get what is yours, then I would invite you to take part in this retreat. You can also do it energetically. Yeah, you can attend with your etheric body. Oh, I know, that sounds interesting, doesn't it? Well, I'm going to interview Mary today so I can really get the lowdown. And then if you are not able to fly in, and if you can pay for a full ticket, great, you can attend and still receive the blessing, still receive the energetic blessing that these spiritual elders and shamans are doing, so that you will feel that peace sink in. As we activate this energy on Mount Shasta, this root chakra, we will feel that in ourselves and get that activation of our own power. So I will put the link here in the description. You'll see it all on my pages. I felt strongly enough after hearing about what they're doing to help Mother Earth and how we also can benefit, because let's be honest, the reason I started this whole live today with, I need you to be full of vitality, I need you to be full of joy, I need you to be full of abundance, so that you can live powerfully, so that you can tap into your gifts, so that you can activate your potential at a higher level, so that you can then share it with the world. And it doesn't matter if you are an activist or you're on stages or you're on TV or what, wherever you are, you have a divine appointment to be in communion with your brothers and sisters on this planet. So even if that's just working on your little home environment, work it. Work it. And if it means taking that even further, then baby, you got to take it further, okay? So, yes, Jat, you missed this. It is, yeah, you will need to listen back, but it's really about tapping into one of these power centers. Mount Shasta is considered the root chakra of Mother Earth. Where the Kogi live, they call it the heart of the earth. The Sierra Nevada is the heart of this planet, just like we talk about the Amazon rainforest as being the lungs of the planet. But there are power centers around the earth that, when activated, people feel them. I mean, why do you think people, you may not know this because you're in the UK, but I just learned about people flying to Mount Shasta. The springs where we're going to be doing some of the retreats, these are healing waters. People experience divine apparitions. Apparently, Saint Germain is going to be there, or is often seen there. I'm learning about stuff that I've never thought of, or I might have thought was a little weird before, but I'm realizing, especially because I'm feeling it. Like I've told you how my experience was in Peru. The energy was something I cannot explain. The beauty, the presence, the energetic. See? I don't have words. I do not have words. Transformed me. And it's very different. I love where I live, y'all. I moved here because it fed me and nourished me, the sea and the cliffs. But the energy of those mountains in Peru was like breathtaking. Keeping an eye on the time. It was breathtaking. So I am curious now. The shaman that worked with us in Peru mentioned that that the mountains are guardians and protectors. And so she said that, you know, these mountains in Peru, I could call on them even though they're not my home mountains. So she said, if you're ever feeling shaky or whatever, you can call on the mountains to give you that support. Or you could call on the mountains in your home country for that support, no matter where you are on the planet. So these mountains have been calling. And when I told my friend Derry that I'm flying to America for this retreat at Mount Shasta, he's like, well, if you're loving all these mountains, why don't you come to Everest? So next April, we are actually doing a retreat and inviting anyone who'd like to join us to go to Mount Everest and to experience some of these sacred sites. We'll be hosting something called a Gaia Talk, which is why I keep looking at the clock, because at 4 my time, I'm supposed to be on Skype with Missy. So Missy Crutchfield is one of the co-founders of the Gandhi Global Center for Peace. She's the co-creator of Gaia Talks, and she's the one of the editors of Gandhi's Bee magazine, along with Melissa Turner. And these two lovely ladies are the people that really encouraged me to go to Peru. So we have decided to partner up. Make Your Mark Global will be producing Gaia Talks in many, many cities around the world, sacred sites where we can do almost like a TED Talk. There'll be TED-style talks of, 18 to 20 minutes. People from the local region, as well as other people who want to fly in for some of these retreats, can speak. They'll be filmed and they'll be broadcast on the web. It's a passion project of mine and something I'm super excited about, because I think there's so many stories of different cultures, of different methods of seeing the world and seeing ourselves and our healing and our potential. And I believe that if you tap into some of the wisdom from these cultures, without all of the weird dogma, but just see what resonates for you, that something you might be able to apply and benefit from in your life. Because if you've been living with the blinders on or living in a box, you think that the program that they've sold you is maybe the only one, and it's not. I knew for me, when my eyes were opened after doing acupuncture, I realized, nah, y'all, this American Medical Association, y'all ain't gonna keep me from knowing the truth. You know, the big pharma companies and all of these, you know, corporate, okay, see, now I'm going on a whole nother rant. But you know what I'm saying, right? If you think that your way is the only way, I'm sorry. I just have to burst your bubble. It's not the only way. There is no one way to bliss. There is no one way to enlightenment. There is no single one way to healing, to overcoming disease or depression and all of that. There's not. I'm sorry. Consider your bubble burst. There are multiple ways. Ooh, multiple. Hey, see what y'all got me doing? Okay, thanks for the hearts and the love. Yes. Oh, Lena was in Peru in 2008. It's like, right, like you don't have words for it. It's magical. Lena, you said it. Magical. Oh, magical. And Jat, so are you saying, Jatinder, that Saint Germain is the guardian of the purple flame? Ooh, you want to go? Yes. Jat, come. It'll be so fabulous. Come to Mount Shasta and experience this. It's gonna be amazeballs. So there's a week-long, if you care to, there's a samadhi breathwork retreat to prepare for some of the energy. I should say that Mary Maya. Well, I'll share the interview. I will share the interview, but I gotta go. So when I share this interview with you, oh, there's a clock in front of me. I don't have to keep turning around. Listen, Mary Maya says, when this mountain gets activated, for anybody who's sensitive, you're going to feel it. So even my friends over there in Norway, in Sweden, and Denmark, and my peeps in Iceland, I'm coming to see you on Friday, you will get the energetic activation by attending, even if you're staying in your home country. So just know that there are ways for you to connect. I will share the interview just as soon as I finish. I'm going to finish it tonight. Maybe I won't do a whole lot of editing. I didn't do it, Janet. I wanted to do it in 30 minutes. I did 40 minutes, and then I've been running my mouth. And y'all haven't had questions. You've posted some comments, but yes, good job. I did it. I kept it under an hour. I love you all so very much. I have such love and admiration for you, and I am so grateful that you are a part of my world and my life. You enrich me. You give me so much, just as much as I feel like I am here sharing with you. So thank you, thank you, thank you. My dears, I love you, but I gotta go. And I want you to remember that you are a gift to this world. So I want you to embrace your gifts and share them. Share your presence with passion. Until next time, may you be free from suffering. May you be truly well in body, mind, and heart. And may you know true happiness and its causes. Much love. Bye.